The movie that Ta-Nehisi Coates wish he wrote.
Did you notice some of the like no agenda references in this movie?
A little bit.
So
I'll
there,
let you.
so there's one in particular that there were a few. There was some like podcasting stuff that was sort of like, oh, stay safe, which like Dvorak hates. But there was one in particular that felt too on the nose to not be real, and it's like the base blows up after Godzilla goes to attack it, and we're gonna spoil Godzilla versus Kong all the way. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It won't take that long. But and the episode's over after this. So if you get to this point, you haven't watched it, feel free to turn it off and go watch the movie and come back if you want to hear our thoughts. Or this will be up on YouTube as well. But he goes down, or the podcaster in the movie goes down to the base, or he sneaks into the base, and it gets destroyed by Godzilla. And there's a bunch of other things happen. And I guess they come back, and there's this whole thing about sublevel 33. And it feels too on the nose not to be written by someone who listens to No Agenda. And there are Hollywood producers who, like legit Hollywood producers, that watch or listen to that show, and I'm just like, there's no way that number, right? And I guess there's this whole thing about like random number theory, but I'm like, there's no way. I was like, that has to be a reference to No Agenda. Yeah. Absolutely has to be a reference. And it's the podcaster who finds it. Like, come on now.
Yeah, no, right? So
where do you want to start with this movie, though?
Tell me your thoughts. You give me your review, and then I'll give you my review.
All right. We'll do basic thoughts and just kind of see where it goes from there.
Okay. Go ahead. Overall, what'd you think of the movie? 5 stars. What do you rate?
Oh, I don't like to do ratings because that puts an arbitrary number. It's like a 3 out of 5. I think if you're gonna make me put a number to it.
So by 3. Would you put Twilight at 3?
No, not at all. Be like a big goose egg. But that's the thing, is I don't like numbers because people see that and they try to like read all of it into it, and so it's better just to get your thoughts out about it. So
yeah, go ahead, give me your thoughts on it.
The
out of 3
best
stars.
way that I heard this, the best like summary of this that I heard, if you were gonna almost give it one sentence, was this is stupid, but it's not annoying stupid. So you have something like Michael Bay movies, which are they're just straight up stupid. They're overly long. They have all this garbage in it. It's like melting your mind with the amount of explosions and just going on the screen. And you get some of that with this, but it's fine, and the set pieces when Godzilla and Kong are fighting are really cool, if not completely absurd. Like at one point, they roll a like tanker or whatever that Kong is on, right?
Yeah.
And then at some point, Kong gets back onto it.
Aircraft carrier.
Yeah, his hand comes down onto it, and people run by screaming when he puts his hand down. I'm like, that just got flipped underwater. Those people would not be there, right? So there's tons of inconsistencies with the movie for sure.
I noticed that too. I died laughing when I saw that.
And I'm pretty sure Adam Wingard directed this movie, and I don't have the poster yet, but he directed one of my favorite horror movies of all time, You're Next. Love that movie. And then he also directed The Guest, which is another movie that I really, really love. And so you can see there's an interesting dynamic with this movie where you can see his influence in certain places, but you also see how much the studio is like, no, shut up, this is what has to be done. So some of the neon in the movie is very much an Adam Wingard thing, and the soundtrack, there's a very everyone would refer to it as the Stranger Things soundtrack, though Wingard did that stuff long before Stranger Things existed. Because I think The Guest predates Stranger Things by like a couple years, and that whole movie is like that. What would you call it? It's not techno. Anyway, that specific like style of music was very much something that I think he did beforehand. Right. So you see a little bit of that, but he obviously didn't have a whole lot of control over what was happening in the movie. The other thing that I'll mention is that it's a stark contrast from the Godzilla movie that came out in 2013. Like I don't know how long it's been since you've seen that one, but that
It's been a while.
movie is very grounded in reality. It's very much from the point of view of the people on the ground, right? And the biggest criticism of that movie was that you didn't see Godzilla enough, right?
Right.
But compared to this, where you have like Tron ships flying around and laser beams and Mecha Godzilla is in this movie. It's just very jarring.
Point of view from the, I don't even know if you could say monsters, but it seems. I don't want to give my opinion, but so you.
No, I'm done. You're good.
You're done. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I'll
my
have more to
opinion
say, but
is-
I want to feed off of your stuff.
Okay, so in my opinion, it's mindless monster fun. If you just
Yeah.
want to go see some good action scenes that aren't, like, as David said, annoyingly stupid, and that's fun. You don't want to have to think about the storyline, and you're just going there to eat some popcorn and just take 2 hours off your life, and it's enjoyable in that capacity. Seeing King Kong and Godzilla fight, and then seeing them team up and everything. But I think you hit it on the head where it's not grounded in realism, and again, it's fine.
Which is fine. Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
It's just it's a contrast from 2013's Godzilla.
Yeah, when you're supposed to have the storyline unfolding, right? Like this cohesiveness. And so, I mean, it just, first off, you have this podcaster, again, that's a mole within Apex, and you have this, is Millie Bobby Brown, is she a teenager in that? I want to say she's a teenager.
Kinda.
That her father's some higher up in the military, and then she has her friend, and they somehow break into the multiple Apex
so he breaks in
facilities, and without any type of, these places don't have any type of security.
It's very weird. It's very weird. So like he gets in.
I'll follow along with you.
I go, okay, so I will give you the podcaster goes undercover inside as like whatever he is, because apparently he's like an engineer or something. So it's not like the guy's an idiot. He's kind of like conspiratorial or whatever the case may be. And so I'll give you that.
End up being right.
Yeah, I'll be like, okay, movie. Yes, I can follow this, right? But it's all becomes convenience pretty much after that, where it's like, she listens to his podcast, Millie Bobby Brown and her friend, who's just like there,
who just happens to be there,
who I thought was an overweight girl at first.
Dude, I thought the same thing.
I was like,
so funny.
And I think that guy, if it's who I think it is, he was in a movie called Hunt for the Wilder People, which is a Taika Waititi movie. And I went, hey, is that kid?
Deadpool?
Maybe. I don't know. Are you talking about the second one? Are you talking
second one?
Okay, I saw that once, and anyway, so yeah, it's very convenient. They somehow get back. They break back into the base that is destroyed, but still has a sub-level in it that is completely run. Do you remember how they got down there? Was that convenience? Somehow,
they took an elevator down.
Yeah, did they hack this super secret elevator that goes all the way across to China? That's right, because
no. They got into, how they got to China was through they
go down
the facility. They go down,
and
then they enter into the pod. The pod closes,
right, and they go to China.
They ship it off.
What I'm saying is, no one was guarding the super secret entrance to the thing that takes you all the way from. They were in like Pensacola, Florida, I think, all the way to China, and no one was guarding any of that.
Exactly.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like it's this convenience thing, but again, that's why I'm saying it's stupid, or it's like what I say. It's stupid, but it's not annoying stupid.
Right.
Where you're like, all right. I mean, it goes so quick, and they do a really good job of just kind of trying to push past all the human element of the story. Like everyone, none of the human characters in the movie have a personality.
No, they don't.
It's just bland.
This movie, when I saw the trailer, I said, this is exactly what it's going to be. It's Godzilla versus Kong for their first however long. And then, but in reality, you find out that Godzilla is being controlled somehow by the humans. And then Godzilla and Kong team up to fight this greater threat.
Yeah.
And then all along, Kong, it reveals that the real monsters are actually humans.
The only the only thing that this movie was missing that was in Batman v Superman was the fact that like their moms' names were Martha.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I know what you mean.
it's almost beat for beat a less convoluted version of Batman v Superman, right?
Yeah,
They hit all of these like similar markers along the way. I'm trying to think.
I also think too that with the little girl, it's funny to me that she's put in these extremely dangerous situations where most parents wouldn't.
Oh my god!
And
that lady's like, whatever. Yeah,
we'll take her down the hollow earth
Yeah.
to where possible that we'll all die. There's a great likelihood of that's happening. Yeah, I'll bring my daughter down there. That makes perfectly total sense.
Speaking of characters, literally,
She has this connection with Kong.
the character that has the most personality in this movie, that literally you can like, that cares, that feels, that you actually kind of give a crap in this movie, is Kong. The big CG monkey is the only character in this movie that has any resemblance of personality or has a reason for doing the things that they're doing. Everything else is so contrived where it's like the main bad guy is like, well, humanity needs to be number one. Godzilla is literally just pushed by like nature. Like the Godzilla's nature is the only thing driving it forward, right? It doesn't.
And if he turns on us, we need to be able to stop him.
Yeah, and Mechagodzilla is literally a giant robot, right? The
powered by the hollow earth energy blue stuff.
Yeah, they have the whole thing where the Skarsgård, like, he's one of the Skarsgårds. He's the professor.
Oh yeah.
And his whole like plot is his brother went on a dumb mission, right? They didn't test the hollow thing before they went down into it. His brother goes on a mission to go through it, gets crushed going through at like light speed through this thing, and like I guess whatever they sent him through. And now he wants to do the same thing because his brother didn't make it, so now he feels the need to go and do this, right? And you think about that part of the plot and you go, okay, so we have a man currently in reality who is shooting rockets into outer space, unmanned rockets into outer space to test to make sure that everything is working correctly. And these morons couldn't even drop something through that to figure out if they sent something through that it would completely destroy the vessel. Thing, it's like that's probably the stupidest plot point in the movie where you go, okay, you've kind of lost me right there. But
and then somehow they carry King Kong with a few helicopters with a net, and before that you have this King Kong is chained to an aircraft carrier
and so easily breaks off
on a monster. He's supposed to be able, and then he easily breaks off the chain. It's just
like, why didn't you just do that before?
And then he grew in this movie from the other movie from King Kong Skull Island.
Yes.
I mean, we could go on and on.
Okay, so yes, the growth thing is a little weird, right? People have been pointing that out. But they do mention in Skull Island that he is not fully grown. So they do cover themselves. Obviously, again, we're talking about like a movie where two CG monsters beat each other up. So you're not going to get this like detailed, like, oh, his cellular, blah, blah, blah. You're not going to get the cellular structure of Monkey. But they do say like, oh, he's not fully grown. You get to this movie, he clearly looks older. He's got kind of like a grayed out like beard. They make him look a little more mature in the movie, because that movie was in Skull Island was 1970s. And this is like, I guess, futuristic, because it's not 2021 in this movie. And if it is, you've lost me, because there's no way that technology increased that much from the original Godzilla to this. I don't buy it.
And he's a strong monster, and somehow he can't break out of chains.
Yes.
Until they release him, and then he can break out the one out of the neck.
Yes. It's all convenient. Everything in this plot is convenient because it's so easy to poke holes in it, where it's like, okay, you could have just gotten helicopters and flown them high enough to get out of the reach of Godzilla, but instead you got Apex or whoever all these companies were. Probably the Navy, the U.S. Navy is involved in this. They all do all of this so that people get slaughtered by both Kong and Godzilla in these fights.
I noticed that too when they
Like,
were
what?
flying Kong to Antarctica or wherever. I'm like, you couldn't have done that from the beginning.
And here's the other thing too is like, when you really think about it, I don't think they necessarily needed Kong in order to go into Hollow Earth to find the thing that they were looking for.
Yep.
Because they find it pretty easily, and they're, oh, we gotta follow Kong. And it's just like, he beats up some monsters down there and eats one of them. And you're like,
And then,
okay. And then there's
the Hollow Earth energy.
And then, of course, in order to make sure that Kong and Godzilla can finally have like an actual showdown, Godzilla is easily able to burn a hole to the center of the Earth.
And Kong
To
has
activate-
his axe that
it's-
absorbs the energy.
Yes, it's the perfect location as this beam goes through the Earth, I guess, to hit the place that he's in, right? It just so happens that they're standing in exactly the same place, and he burns the hole through to activate the stuff that's going on, so that they can fly back up through the hole in order to get to Kong and Godzilla, so the humans can conveniently be there when all of this is going on. And Millie Bobby Brown is also there, and sort of saves the day because they dump alcohol on the thing for Mechagodzilla, and so he freaks out a little bit because they made it that easy for this thing to be corrupted. And you're just like, all right. The fights are cool.
It just took water.
Yeah.
It was a cup of water. That's what. No. It was alcohol.
It
You're
was
right.
because
was
he
his,
had, because they keep they go, he has alcohol in a holster. Did you see the alcohol in the holster? And you're like, well, this is clearly going to come back up again. That is a bad way to do a payoff in a movie.
Yep.
You make it subtle. Yes. You mention it one time and you go, oh, he has this alcohol in the holster, right? And so when he pulls it out later, you go, oh, from earlier. And yeah. They're just like,
wink.
yeah, it's too on the nose. But the question
Grab
is,
your Twizzlers.
Yeah.
Eat them and just don't pay attention to storyline.
Yeah. So would you
just
recommend
enjoy some good fight scenes?
Would you recommend?
I wouldn't recommend going to see it in the movie theater.
Okay.
But I don't mind, like, if I rented it to watch at home, I wouldn't mind that.
I would.
I think if I would have went and saw that in the movie theater, I possibly been like, it probably wasn't worth it.
Yeah. If you are going to see it in the theater, try to find the biggest, loudest theater you can see it in.
Yeah.
If you're going to watch it on HBO Max.
I mean, it is fun.
Yeah, it is. It's just if you aren't able
just
to
looking here, this is the best way. This is let me say this. If you're just looking to veg out, and if I was just looking to veg out, I wouldn't mind going to the movie theater and spending the money.
Sure.
Right? If I'm just looking to veg out, like I need to relax, just not think about anything, boom, this is a great movie to do that. It's fun, but if you're not looking to do that, then you're in for disappointment.
Yeah, I mean, I recommend it if you have HBO Max for one reason or another. It's something to watch. There's not.
If you like Superman, if you like the Justice League, the Zack Snyder's cut, I think this is better than that.
I'm not even gonna touch that. I don't even know. God, it's like two totally different things. But yeah, I mean, I would recommend it. If you can find a big loud theater and you just want to go see a big dumb movie, that's not gonna like
be super annoying.
Yeah, and it's not gonna. The runtime's not super long or whatever. It went by pretty quick, and
Yeah.
Kong is enjoyable. So yeah, I mean, I would recommend it on that basis. Or if you have HBO Max and you don't have anything better to do with a couple hours, it's not. There are worse things that you could watch for sure.
Yep.